Hi guys, so I'm here at the place of Durad, or Durad, I don't know how you say it. I don't know how you say it, eating my unwarmed lentil soup, so let's go. You can see that it's quite a bit of people here. Like, that's actually where the most people are. They're just all lined along the Garonne, which is the biggest river that passes through here. And actually, a lot of these bridges have been over time flooded and destroyed. These ones here, of course, are standing, but there was originally one bridge here, which you can actually see just in front of me. I believe that's where the bridge would have ended. That's the terminal, where you see that just concrete block. And it was the only bridge here from the 12th to the 17th century. But during numerous flooding events, it got destroyed. And now you have, of course, many bridges because it's a big city, but that was their only one, which is right here, once more over there. And it was called the Durad Bridge. And all of this is Durad. It's called, everything here is called Durad because there's a church just by here called the Durad Church. And apparently that means gilded, so like gold plated. I think that's because d'or is like of gold in French. But yeah, I think that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I hope maybe it does make at least a bit of sense. And yeah, so that's where I'm eating my food. And next I'm gonna cross the river to the other side and see what's over there. Here we are, guys, at the Pont Neuf. Technically the new bridge, but it's more than 300 years old, so it's not really new. I'd like to point out the sculpture you see right there. It's called the child with the dunce cap. So it's basically a child that's supposedly in timeout and he's forced to sit there with his dunce cap on. But it's really cool because it's kind of showing a kid sitting on the edge. And the reason why this bridge has been able to stand for 300 years is quite ingenious. First of all, you have these arch designs which contribute to the structural integrity. And furthermore, these holes actually allow water to pass through the bridge when the water level rises high, invariably, because it always happens, in order to let the water pass through and not destroy the bridge. So it's a very genius design on this bridge, and that's why it's been able to stand for 300 years. And yeah, I don't know, I think they need to change the name from New Bridge to Old Bridge, but it's still really cool. And I guess it's kind of like the most important bridge of Toulouse, since in the tour guide, this is the one that they recommend you to check out. So guys, it's incredibly sunny, but I wanted to capture the coast from the bridge, and you can see here you have all of the people sitting along and enjoying their Thursday evening, and on the other side the similar thing. And yeah, I'm gonna walk through a park where there should be shade because this sun is way too intense. I've been using this as a sunblock, but I think all of the UVB rays go straight through it, or I don't think, I'm certain. So that's not really good, and I'm not wearing sunscreen, so I'm gonna get quickly into the cover of the trees and enjoy the park. So guys, I now know why it's called the New Bridge. So once more, this bridge right here, it's because in the Renaissance, all you had were these two bridges here. One of them was called the Dorad Bridge, which is named once more after the church. Actually, you can see right there, that's the Church of Notre Dame de Dorad. So that's the church. Everything in this area, there's this Dorad Square, everything is named after that church. And that was the bridge. Then you also had the Old Bridge. And then take you to the end of the 17th century. You have the New Bridge, the Dorad Bridge, which is destroyed, as you can see, and then the Old Bridge here, which seems to be still standing, but of course you can see now none of those bridges are there. You just have the New Bridge in the middle, and the other two bridges on the side are gone because they didn't have that same genius design, once more, with the arches and the holes. So I found that pretty interesting. And apparently one of the pillars of one of the bridges is still standing. Let me check. It was either the Dorad Bridge or the New Bridge. So, okay, so yeah, one of the pillars of the Dorad Bridge is still standing in the river, but I don't think I can see it because it would be on the other side. And here along the way, I made a detour, I kind of made my way back. But you have one of the old water towers of the city, and it's today an art exhibit, it would seem, because you have this sign. So yeah, that's how they would manage the water system back then. But with irrigation changed and renovated, I guess they don't really have the use of the water tower anymore. So it's now an art exhibit. So I can't believe how live this park is on a Thursday. I guess it is the school vacation, so a lot of kids are not in school, so maybe the parents are also taking it off, but it's also the evening, so there's no work either. So I'm not surprised, but I can imagine that in the weekends it must be even busier. You can see that here we have all of these kind of ropes tied from tree to tree, because you have a lot of people doing that tightrope sport. I'm not sure what it's called, but they essentially just do balance, and a lot of people are doing that. and bunch of different activities. So it's really a beautiful park, and I'm impressed with how many people are taking advantage of it. So not only is this park obviously for recreation activities, it's called the Prairie Filters, but you also see here you have a bulwark. And this is actually a dam, or rather a reinforcement wall, a retaining wall that protects the city from flooding whenever the Garonne River submerges or exceeds the level of the normal height. So that's actually a park and a thing which protects the city with that dam in essence. So guys, here we are back on the other side of the river, so the original side that I was on. And it's interesting because here is the terminal station for the tramway. So this tram here, you can actually see, hold on, there's that black sign there, the stop sign, because this is the very end of the line. So that train is just ready to actually go to the station and pick up its first passengers since it's empty. And yeah, it's a really nice shaded kind of boulevard. So that's why I wanted to show you guys quickly. And I'm gonna be walking to see some more gardens and fountains. So should be a good way to end the day, and then I'll head to the train station to catch my night train. So I'm still on the same boulevard, and here you actually have a monument of the First World War. And the one thing that I just wanted to quickly attract your attention to is the one here in Somme, because that's actually very close to where I live currently in France, and that's where I work. So I'm not sure if you guys know, but I'm basically a tour guide at a National War Memorial, and one of the national memorials that I work at is literally the Battle of the Somme, which is commemorated right there. So it's incredible to see that there were still people from the south of France that fought there in the Somme in the north, and yeah, they were fighting it in the First World War. So here I am at the monument to the glory of the resistance. So this monument represents the French resistance movement during the 1940 to 1944 Vichy government, because the resistance was actually stationed in Toulouse, where I am currently now. So this is where kind of all of the orders were coming. This is where the so-called legitimate French government was. I mean, at that point, it's unclear who was legitimate, but this was the French government that was non-Nazi in essence. And so this is the memorial, I guess. It was built in 1975. Yes. So the 30th anniversary of the liberation of one of the concentration camps in 1945. So it's been here for quite a while, since 75. And just behind that glass, there's also a museum, it seems. So I looked through. It's of course closed right now since it's quite late. But yeah, so that's the monument here. So here we are at the Garden of the Big Roundabout, sorry, not Round Point. I just did their literal translation, and it's because this is basically a massive circle. I can actually show you guys. That is what it is. So it's a massive circle where I'm currently standing, and in the middle you have a park with a fountain, and that's why it's called the Garden of the Big Round Point. It's quite beautiful, as you can see. The flower and kind of landscaping that I've noticed in all of these cities so far is quite impeccable. And of course that's because here as well you have much warmer weather, so they can plant much earlier. So yeah. The next thing I wanted to show you guys was the monument to all of those dead from the First World War. And it's an even bigger one than the one I showed you guys prior to about the Somme. But it's under construction and it's really not in any state to be shown, so I just skipped it. But here actually behind me, first of all, ooh, look at that sunlight reflection. It's beautiful with the sunset. You have pretty much the symphony hall. So this is where the symphony plays. You'll see here we have Wagner written, and then over here somewhere it's Mozart. Yeah, over there. And then there's also another monument here. I believe this is a war monument, which is not under construction, so that's great to see. And yeah, so it's a quite interesting place to be at. And the sunset is also really beautiful. So I might try to capture for you guys if I can. All right, guys, behind me you have St. Etienne's Cathedral. And this one is quite special because it was built, destroyed, and then rebuilt. So in fact, when it was rebuilt in the 17th century, I'm just going off the one paragraph description I have since it's closed, I can't actually see. But when it was rebuilt in the 17th century, some of the statues were designed because people thought them too shocking. So they were too inappropriate for whatever reason. And you can actually see that I got a nice ham sandwich because I was hungry and I don't want to go to a restaurant. It's so expensive. But yeah, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do, to be honest. I have still an hour and a half left, but I would prefer to get to the train station early. So that's what I might do. Or I might just check out one more canal and then get on. It's 8:30, so I think that's why you have a bell ringing. But yeah, there you have it, St. Etienne Cathedral. St. Etienne Cathedral. All right, guys, so that's it for the Toulouse vlog. As you can see, I'm at the train station. Honestly, it's an hour before the train. It's not even here, but I really just didn't want to go anywhere else. Kind of, I don't know, I just kind of anxious to get back home, to be honest. I bought a loaf of bread and I was just eating that, but that was also a mistake because raw bread is just raw bread. So don't just eat bread by itself, guys. But yeah, so gonna get on the train. Hopefully I can get some nice sleep, and then the next morning I still haven't decided what I'm gonna do, to be honest, because I could either go back home from Paris or go to another destination. I'm hoping to be able to do that with my friend Optine, that you guys definitely know from the Lille vlog, but it's not yet confirmed. So I guess you'll find out if you watch the next video. Alright, so there you guys have it. 3-part vlog out of the way. It was a one-day trip. Honestly, I'm not gonna say it was my most favorite trip. The city itself is so beautiful, but it was quite tiring, to be honest, to be there from the morning all the way into the night. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed, and catch me in the next video.